Hello and welcome to this how-to video on WKO4. This is Hunter Allen, and I just wanted to show you guys a really neat little tool here to help you to go from the diagnostic all the way to the predictive, and how to take your data from one level all the way to the next. So right now we've got Joe Ryder right here. We're going to go ahead and open up and create a new custom chart out of our chart picker. Just click on that custom chart, and here we're gonna add this chart in here and take this as a idea of speed and power. All right, so let's just kind of look at this a little bit. We're not going to play with this too much with our title there. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to use an expression that allows us to see the 10 best 40-kilometer rides by speed. Okay, so I want to take that expression and kind of talk a little bit about that. So ultimately, the expression that we're going to use here is, and I'm just going to paste it in here for you, so it's real simple. It's going to be elapsed distance, okay, and we're going to use the speed. We're taking the main max of that, and we're going to do it by 40 kilometers, okay, so I want the best ones by 40 kilometer, and we're going to do it by week, okay, so that's going to give us that by week. You know, and I think I'm going to make this a bar chart right here, so it's real easy to see and easy to play with, and I'm going to give our increments a little bit more in there. So once we've got that, that's pretty interesting, because then it kind of gives us some information here about speed. Clearly we've got a problem here with the data right here that we're not going to mess with right now, but that gives us an idea there's something wrong right there. But it gives us, you know, it shows us here what this athlete's speed is, their best 40K rides are. So wouldn't it be neat now? Let's look at it, and let's look at it by power. So let's take that same expression that we used right here, but instead of speed, let's use it as power. So all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy this expression. I'm going to hit the plus button here and give me a new data series. And let's just do this now. We'll put it in here, and we'll take out the word speed, and let's do it by power. All right, and power is yellow, so let's just give it some yellow. And you know, it probably makes really good sense to kind of make this a triangle and no line styles. And I'm going to bring this to the front because it's kind of hidden in the background. So I'm going to move this data series up, and let's just say best 40K by power. All right, so that's going to be our thing there. And I've got that one. I'm going to move that up to the top there, so it's on top of these other ones. So now the yellow triangles are on top of the blue, so that's pretty easy to see. All right, so now what we've got here is we've got this athlete's best 40K distances by power. So out here he did a very high power for 40K, all right, and you can kind of see that his speed was high as well, and then you can see some of these as well. So wouldn't it be neat to kind of take that, now that we have speed and power, would it make sense to say, what if we said that, well, if you are more aero, wouldn't your speed go up in relationship to your power? So what we could do is we could take these two expressions and divide them by each other. So what we would do is we'd say, okay, let's take this initial one here by speed. We'll copy that one again. I'm going to go over here and hit the plus button and get a new one here. Let's just call this aerodynamics for now. And I'm going to paste that in there. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide that one, and I'm going to paste it in again. But now I'm going to divide that one by power to see if it tells us if this athlete has been improving. And I'm going to give us some significant digits here. And we're going to make this a dot. No line style, but we're going to make these circles. And let's make these squares. And let's make it a little different color there so it's a little easier to see. Yeah, how about a green? Nah, that's too close to that one. How about a white? There you go. Those are relatively easy to see. And this aerodynamics is hiding behind some of these other things, so I'm going to move that one up in front of that, and so that way we can see it as well. We got the bars in the background. So now we have an understanding of how speed and power relate to this athlete. And I'm going to close this here so I can just hover over it, and we can see this one is 0.126. Okay, here is 0.107. All right, there's 0.106. So what's very interesting to start to see that this athlete's 40K power, all right, and their best speeds, and which is showing us what is more in terms of their aerodynamics. Are they improving with their aerodynamics? Okay, and how does that work? Ultimately, that's kind of what we're looking at here is seeing how that makes that happen. All right. Up here at the top, we see that his best 40K by power. All right, so there's a 278 on that day. All right, and that was 27 mile an hour. Okay, so that's a pretty solid one right there. That was actually a time trial right there that he did. And we can go back over here and we can see this one. This one is by power 300 watts, but it was only 23.25 miles an hour. Okay, so high power and a relatively low speed. So that gives us an aerodynamic coefficient there. Or it's really not the aerodynamic coefficient, but just because that's going to confuse some folks. But that's just going to give us a little bit there, a 0.77. All right, and so as we kind of head over into this direction, we'll start to see, oh, look at this. Now it's 264 and 23 miles an hour, and it's 0.88. We move over here even farther. Here is 278. So his watts are coming down, and his speed is going up, so the aerodynamics is coming up. We come over here to this one, and now we see that his watts are really low, okay, an easy ride, and his speed is fairly high still. So all of a sudden it shows us that he's getting pretty darn aero there in that one right there itself. All right, so what if we took that now and we kind of furthered this a little bit further, this thinking, and we took this idea of aerodynamics, and what if we copied this one and then added in average? Okay, so we'll just do edit copy here, and I'm going to come over here to this side, and now I'm going to add in this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to average it. I'm going to put a parentheses around that, right before parentheses I'll put average. All right, and I'm going to average this by, I'm just going to have one here at the end, average this all by week. Okay, so I've already got the week in there, and then that lets us see that week. And then we can see this one. We should change that right in here. So we can just, there we go. And now I'm going to change this annotation. I'm going to put this above left, and then that way you can see this average aero. Okay, so you got the average aero of the whole thing, but we're going to need some more rounding there. So then that gives us this idea of 0.106 right there. Now I could compare this. What if I compared this to previous years? And now you might see 2014 to 2015, and it would show you these average aero, this number here from one to the other. And yeah, it's a little hidden there, but you can see that one year is a little bit higher than the other, so it's right up in here. Here's 2014, and there's 2015. So he's gotten more aerodynamic in 2015. His watts have come down. His speed has gone higher in 2015 than it was in 2014. So just a little quick way to use the most advanced analytical engine ever, WKO4, to take you from a place of descriptive to understanding the analytical of this information, all the way to predicting what he might do into the future. So we can keep working on that, have more power, get a little more aero. He's going to go even faster. Hope you've enjoyed this WKO4 video. Thanks a lot.